Good day, YouTube. It is the 21st of May, 2021, and we are, again, working on shop truck. This, we did a video on about a week ago, where we changed the intake manifold gasket out to one that blocks the heat crossover. And everything seemed to be just fine. Uploaded the video and everything. Got around to, putting the final tune on it, adjusting the timing, all that stuff. Realized I had an antifreeze leak. Yes, an antifreeze leak out of the intake manifold gasket. So, little intake manifold gasket 101 today, I guess. I could have just let it go, but quite honestly, somebody else is going to run into this issue, and I'll feel bad if I didn't A, come clean on it, B, not only come clean on it, but then describe what it is that happened and what I'm doing to fix it better, right. I thought I was fixing it right the first time, but you know what? Sometimes you just miss the mark. Let me show you what we've got. Here are 3 intake manifold gaskets. They should all be correct-ish for a Ford small block. 260, 289, 302, even 351 Windsor motors. So this is a gasket that I took off of my 302 a week ago and changed it for a Mr. Gasket gasket that closed off this exhaust crossover. Okay, so the exhaust manifold air, or the raw exhaust, actually cruises through between the heads under the intake manifold and heats the bottom of the intake. Let me show you. Alright, do you see it there? Right there. A couple bolt holes on each side of it. Those are the heat crossovers, alright? Kind of a small hole. But in the wintertime, that is what heats up the bottom of your then cast iron intake manifold so that it runs better in cold weather. On the engine stand, I've got another 302 engine, and this is that heat crossover, okay? Got a couple bolts on each side. Comes over underneath the carburetor, warms up that plate. Okay, on an aluminum intake manifold, now that I've lived it, that's not necessarily desirable, especially on a warm day, especially on a hot day. Alright, here's the bottom of my aluminum intake manifold. It's just a generic intake manifold, and here's that open crossover port. Cruises through, warms up this area, and the carburetor sits on the other side, obviously. It just passes the exhaust through both sides. I guess it comes and goes. I don't know. Anyway, I can tell you that just on a 75, 80 degree day, driving my truck around normally, cooking the gas in my carburetor. Okay, so the last video was putting the 1-inch phenolic spacer between the intake and the carburetor and then blocking this off. The result was I had too big of a gasket here, and it didn't seal on this side. This is the one that didn't seal, and I was leaking antifreeze big time. It didn't leak before, it leaks now. Let's go compare the gaskets now. Alright, here's the gaskets. So, this is the gasket I took off the motor. It was in pretty good shape. It's only been on there, a few hundred miles. We did this engine in January, February, or whatever, and here it is May. Alright, here's this would indicate the size of the water jacket of the Mr. Gasket gasket that I did put on. It was completely destroyed, taken off. There's nothing I can show you. Okay, if you compare the two, I should put this behind, I guess, to see it. Come on, work with me here. And if we line up this port like so, you can see just how much gasket shows through, okay? So I use this gasket, this size of gasket, with the heat crossover blocked from Mr. Gasket, and this leaked. So we're doing this again because we just love to work on it, I guess. So you can see it's a too wide here and too wide here. I'm not sure where it leaked at, but it leaked. Let me tell you, it leaked. Okay, what's the solution? Well, I have an uncle, been in auto parts business 50 years. He just moved to a different auto parts store, a couple towns away actually. But I just reached out to him this week and I said, I need a solution for a gasket that blocks the crossover and gives me the smaller water port. And what he came up with was the Fel Pro, I think they call it a number 1250. Let me, yeah, there it is right on the gasket. A 1250. Okay, this is a small block Ford. And you can see this big hole right here. What it comes with is a couple of options in an insert. Okay, one that would restrict the flow a little bit, and one that would block the flow completely. Okay, and that's what we're going to use. The cool thing is it gives you the opportunity to have either the small or the large water port, and it even gives you this little restrictor here. I'm not sure exactly why this is here. We're going to line this up and cut this little piece off right here because it's not needed. Let me throw... No, let's go over and look at the intake manifold. I have the other gasket over there. Okay, we're over at the intake now. This blue sealer goes to the intake manifold, and the this is the back. So got to get it this way. So we'd set that on like that. We'll line the bolt holes all up, and you can see this area right here. I'm going to mark that with a pencil and then snip that off. All right, and then we're good to go because you can see the sealer is going to seal just fine on the intake manifold. So that's what we're going to use. So Fel Pro number 1250 with the insert for the heat crossover to block that off gives you the option for either the big port or small port water jackets. Okay, and everything else looks like it will be just fine. So I'm going to get to trucking and get this thing put back on because I want to move on to another project, and I am back to work, so all I got is my weekends now. This is Friday. So I'd like to get this done and move on, so I'm going to call this the end of the video here. But I wanted to share this with you to come clean on, yep, mine did leak. I didn't think it was leaking. It actually didn't leak until it kind of got warmed up, got a little bit of pressure, then all of a sudden she went. And so anyway, we got that done. But somebody else is going to run into this. I actually posted on a forum on the internet on small block Fords, and I got nothing. So maybe nobody else has run across this. I don't know. But I wanted to help you out, so here you go. That's what I figured out. That's what I did wrong. This is my fix. We're going to get this thing back together today. Maybe button it up in the morning and get out and start driving this thing a little bit. Guys, thanks for watching. Appreciate the comments. I'm doing pretty good about getting back to everybody, comment-wise. And hit the thumbs up on the way out. I'd appreciate that. And we'll see you on the next video.